All right, I wanted to bring you guys another deck that I've built that I really like playing. World Goracle is what I've called it. It is a World Quarter Dragon Thassa's Oracle combo deck, Grixis colors. So let's get over some of the points. All right, this is our point spread. 2 for Spellseeker, 2 for Thassa's Oracle, 2 for Gifts Ungiven, 2 for Underworld Breach, and 1 for Tainted Pact and 1 for Intuition. So this deck is a Thassa's Oracle combo deck. We do get to play some really busted cards with Thassa's Oracle. So I will definitely be going over some Intuitions piles and Gifts Ungiven piles for you, as well as these cards. The Tainted Pact, Tainted Pact is part of the Oracle combo. Spellseeker and Underworld Breach lines that we have. So, yeah, let's start it. All right, I wanted to talk about Intuition and Gifts Ungiven, and give you guys a nice, easy pile to win the game. Gifts Ungiven 2 points, Intuition 1 point, so you'll see why shortly, I think. With Gifts Ungiven, you search your library for 4 cards. Your opponent chooses 2. Those go into the graveyard. The rest into your hand. Intuition, very similar. You look for 3 cards. Your opponent chooses 1. Put that card into your hand. The others into your graveyard. So in both cases, 2 cards that you find go to your graveyard. And 2 cards go to your hand. 1 card goes to your hand. The main pile you could go for, right? This is the easiest pile. Is Demonic Consultation, Thassa's Oracle, Snapcaster Mage, and Unearth. So, if they give you this, you're going to win the game. Actually, it doesn't matter what they give you, you're going to win the game. It's just the cost of the mana will change. So, Thassa's Oracle, main combo in the deck. When it enters, you look at the top X. So what you do is you cast it. If it resolves, you put the trigger on the stack, you hold priority, and you say, okay, I'm going to cast Demonic Consultation. If this resolves, you name some card not in your deck. Black Lotus is a good one because I don't own one. Then that resolves, your deck's empty. If this trigger resolves, you then win the game. Now, any pile they give you, right, if they alternate the piles, well, what do? You cast Unearth on the Thassa's Oracle, cast Snapcaster, target the Consultation. So, any order that they give you these cards in, they throw these 2 in, right? Well, okay, you just Unearth Thassa's Oracle. You're going to win the game. And that's the power of these 2 cards in specific, that they tutor everything you need to win. So like I said, Intuition, if you have one of these cards in your hand, you can go for the same pile. Of course, your board state, what your opponent has in hand, what you have in hand, what you've already used, that's all going to change what you can go for. But this is one of the main piles. Let's talk about Underworld Breach for a second. All right, Underworld Breach. This is a 2-point card because of its storm implications. Each non-land card in your graveyard has escape. You just exile 3 cards, pay its mana cost, and you're good. And then at the beginning of your end step, get rid of it. Now, this card and these 2 win you the game, as long as you have at least 6 cards in your graveyard. Now, the reason is you cast let's say these are in your hand. So you cast the Underworld Breach, cast the Lion's Eye Diamond, let's say no mana. So you crack it, you're going to discard your hand, which is the Brain Freeze. Now this is in your yard, you have 3 blue. I'm just going to use the cards I used previously. So all of our win condition, you could just cast these from your yard, but we're going to say add I don't want to do that. So you're going to exile 3 cards. And now what you can do is cast the Brain Freeze. Brain Freeze, target yourself. You've cast 3 spells this turn, so you're going to mill 9. I'm just going to grab some lands, some amount of lands. We'll say it's 9. Those go into the yard. You can keep casting Lion's Eye Diamond, exile 3. Brain Freeze, target yourself. Now you're going to do an extra 6. So from 9, you're going to go 15. You keep doing this until you either have enough Storm that you can target your opponent and mill them out, or you found something else in your deck, like the cards we threw out. You've milled yourself out, and then cast the Thassa's Oracle from your deck. So that is how Underworld Breach works in this deck. There's one other... Yeah, so let's do just quick another section on Underworld Breach. So the last thing, or another thing you could do, let's say you don't have the Brain Freeze, but you do have a Wheel of Fortune. Lion's Eye Diamond, fortunately, makes 3 mana, so you're going to be able to cast Wheel of Fortune each time instead. The benefit of this combo, well, the danger is your opponent's going to be maybe drawing some cards. But the benefit of this combo is you're going to draw 7 and then discard 7. So you're going to have 7 cards in your yard, and these, with their escape cost, is going to be 6 cards. So you're going to be netting 1 card in your graveyard each time you cycle this. So that's another way that you could slowly fill your yard or mill through things, depending on what you've done. And I'm going to touch again on just a Gifts Ungiven pile or Intuition. Some of the things you can get, right? If you already have parts of the combo in hand or in the yard, you can find a purely defensive pile, right? Pact of Negation, the Defense Grid, a Swan Song, a Force of Will, all things to protect your combo. So don't forget you can do that. You can also just find cantrips. You can find lands with Intuition or something. Anything you need, these cards can provide. I just wanted to touch on that quickly. World Gorger Dragon. This is a smaller part of the deck, to be honest, but I think it's powerful enough that it does warrant an inclusion. You're already using your graveyard for a lot of things. It's easy to Intuition for. You can find some Animate Deads, Dance of the Deads. So the way this combo works, if you aren't familiar, I just have these 2 lands in play. For an example, let's say these 2 lands, this is in our graveyard, and we're going to cast our Animate Dead. So we cast our Animate Dead, targeting our World Gorger, and what happens is you enchant a creature card in the graveyard. World Gorger Dragon comes into play. There's a trigger that says, hey, exile all your other stuff. So all your other stuff gets exiled. And then because the Animate Dead left, World Gorger Dragon dies and says, hey, return all your stuff. So you return all your stuff. Now you can tap these for mana. This has a target of World Gorger Dragon. Comes back into play. That's how you get infinite mana with a World Gorger. Which allows you to cast anything else in your hand. Now, of note, because I'm in this current board state of just World Gorger and Graveyard, if there's nothing else for Animate Dead to target, the game will be a draw. If there is something else for Animate Dead to target, I must target it to end the loop at some point in time after I've made some amount of mana. So let's say, I don't know, I'll just put a Lurrus in. So we'll target the Lurrus to end the loop. Right, now we have infinite mana, some Lurrus in play, whatever cards we have from our hand we can cast. That is how you win, or how you get to that state with World Gorger Dragon. Now you might still need to cast cards to win, or whatever. I will mention just one fun combo I have in the deck. I mean, not necessarily it's in the deck for this reason, but if you have something like a Seagate Stormcaller in play, as you're doing this loop, Luris is gone, we'll just say, every time Seagate Stormcaller comes into play, right, with these, leaves, comes in, is going to put this trigger on the stack. And then you let that trigger, you have to stack it, right? But you say, well, okay, I'll let that trigger resolve, then things come back, things leave. What you can do is stack up like 100 of these and then just lightning bolt your opponent out with a whole bunch of copies. So I think that's a fun way you can do it too. Yeah, that's the World Gorger Dragon part of the deck. So I think we'll just do a quick overview of all the creatures. The Seagate Stormcaller, double your spells. Hull Breacher, great for when you have the Wheel of Fortune or just trying to stop your opponents from drawing cards. Dreadhorde Arcanist, you have a lot of spells in this deck. Baral, you have a lot of spells. Some of them have the extra cost, so you're using this as a cost reducer, early blocker. Luris, you can get back your Underworld Breach. Thassa's Oracle is a win con. Tutor anything up in your deck. Well, a lot of things up in your deck. The World Gorger, and then two of our other big reanimation targets, Grizzlebrand and Archon of Cruelty. Grizzlebrand can draw you a bunch of cards, and Archon of Cruelty does kill really fast. It does 21 points of damage in 2 swings. The extra 3 comes from when it enters the battlefield. Yeah, so those are the creatures in the deck. Let's get on to the bulk, which is spells. All right, so here I have all the instants. A lot of these are draw cards. I put Pull from Tomorrow here because with World Gorger or Spellseeker, you can Spellseeker for it. You get to draw your library. You can also just use it early to discard a card to reanimate. You also have just really good ones, Brainstorm, Mental Note, Latinams, Impulse, Opt, Consider, and Thought Scour. Consider, I guess, being probably the newest card in the deck. Some of our removal, and some of this is functional, I guess, has modal. It's modal. So 3 damage to creature or planeswalker. I guess this is also a new card. You can discard 2 and then draw that many cards. I think this card's really good. Just like a Braid, right? Similar effect. Now we can also use it to discard, which is important. Prismari, another thing we can use to discard cards, as well as 2 damage or get ahead on mana with the treasure. Fire Ice, good removal spell. Muddle the Mixture is a tutor for a lot of the pieces of your combo, right? Finds Thassa's Oracle, Taint Pact, Underworld Breach, Brain Freeze. So consider that if you need to use it as a counter spell, of course, do that. But consider your other modes: Spell Pierce, Spell Snare, Force of Negation, Force of Will, Swan Song, Pact of Negation. Most of our interaction there are counter spells there. These I put as like more utility. So Cling to Dust can help you win control battles, right? Just by drawing extra cards. Help you against the aggro decks by gaining you life. Dark Ritual just bumps you ahead. Entomb, put something into your yard. Mission Briefing, we've kind of discussed. Brain Freeze, our win cons, and our tutors. Yeah, so that's the instance. Let's talk about the sorceries. I tried to lay this out in a similar manner. So these are the kind of draw cards we got. This also has the benefit of putting cards into our graveyard. The Wheel of Fortune, Faithful Suiting, really strong. Also has Flashback. Preordained Ponder, Expressive Iteration, also a pretty new card. Also pretty good. Kind of our disruption here, right? Some removal, mostly discard. The best 3 discard spells I think you can play in the format. Some utility here, right? The Reanimates, the Unearth, Strike it Rich to get some extra mana, just bump you ahead. We can be a very mana-hungry deck in the turn we go off. That's why I like Strike it Rich. As well, it works better with Dreadhorde Arcanist than something like a Pentad Prism. That's why I've included it. It also has flashback. So if you're just doing nothing really, or you're spinning your gears, you could just make treasures. Some of the tutors in the deck: solve the equation, can find a lot of your cards, unmarked grave, put something into your graveyard that's non-legendary, Archon or World Gorger, or something like the Lion's Eye Diamond. And then Demonic Tutor, I'm still very high on this card. It's performed really well. I wouldn't consider the Suspend 2 as a reason not to play it, just because it is so powerful. And when you attack with a Dreadhorde Arcanist, you get to cast it, because you don't have to pay the mana cost. There is none. So you just get a free tutor off of the Dreadhorde. So really like that effect. So enchantments and artifacts. The artifacts, nothing really going on here that we don't expect. A Lotus Petal, a Chrome Mox, Lion's Eye Diamond, Defense Grid. So some mana ramp, some protection. In the enchantment pile, I put Dress Down up front. This is an interesting card. I've noticed a lot more creature combo in my meta, so I think this is a very reasonable card. Also works with Lurrus, right? You get a cast it every turn to draw cards once you've used it up. I really like this card. The other thing you can do is you could cast it on your opponent's end step, and then during your turn, creatures don't have abilities. So if you need to, you can use it to reanimate some World Gorger Dragon. Just keep it in play as a 7/7 without exiling your thing, because maybe they have removal or something, and use that. But I would say most of the time, consider using this only on your opponent's stuff, or on your turn to draw cards with Lurrus. You can do this in your end step as well with Lurrus, because it has flash. Don't forget that. And then the other enchantments that we've already looked at, all castable with Lurrus. So very usable. I have just 2 Planeswalkers in the deck, so I might as well merge them right here. Ashiok and Dak Faden. I'm playing Ashiok Dreamrender over something like an opposition agent, because I like the ability to add some extra cards to my graveyard, right? We have a lot of graveyard synergies, so that helps us. And that's really the only case where I would play an Ashiok, is if you're using it to target yourself with your graveyard. You could also target your opponent if you know they put something on top of their library, but I think most of the time you're using it to target yourself. And it controls our graveyard a little bit, which is nice. Dak Faden. We have a lot of artifact hate, so this is just another piece. But mainly he filters your draws. You're going to be drawing 2, discarding 2, which lets you just churn through your deck with a really nice velocity and keeps a Planeswalker in play. So that is the deck. I have a swag load of lands, but there's nothing really exciting going on. The only thing to note is the basics. There's 4 basics, and it's a snow-covered and a swamp, a snow-covered and an island. That's for Tainted Pact. So make sure, if you're making the deck, not to double up on any of the cards, especially, in your mana base. So hopefully you don't do it in your main deck, or in your non-land cards. But that's the only thing to consider when you're making the mana base for the deck, if you don't want to use mine. I really do enjoy this deck. When you do a World Gorger line, you feel really alive, because you're riding on the edge. So if you don't want to ride on the edge, you could switch some of those cards out, right? Massage this deck more to your liking. But I think as far as a Grixis combo deck goes, this one's a really, really powerful one. It's very fast, and it has a lot of interaction points that you can use. So have some fun. Thanks again for watching, guys. Been getting a lot of support, and that's pretty cool. So I'll see you guys next week. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you have any ideas you want for deck techs or something you want me to cover, let me know. I'm hoping to keep doing this for a while, at least until I run out of ideas. So thanks again. Have a good one.